often, having an almost inexistent or downright terrible dating and love life due to your heavy struggle with landing romantic partners or just sucks. And it's easy to get drowned in worries of what you've been doing wrong, as you even wonder if you're just terribly unattractive since you can't get hold of what keeps repelling women away from you. Well, you don't have to worry so much again, because you can rewrite your dating and love life story if you can at least try to work on yourself until you become one of the types of men women find the most attractive. Shall I show you these types of men? 1. Men who exude true confidence. Sometimes being extremely arrogant, pretentious, and boastful in the hopes of getting women to like you is one of the worst things one could ever do. Such actions will get women fawning over you rather than liking you. However, one of the best ways to increase your chances of being a terrific catch is to exude true confidence rather than false confidence cloaked in arrogance and cockiness. The problem with most guys is that they'll do whatever they not just to impress the girl, but also to win her over. They don't give a damn about what she says about herself or anything else. They've become so focused on portraying themselves as a terrific catch she can't afford to lose. They brag about their achievements, social standing, and success tales. What they forget is that truly confident men do not require validation from others to prove their value. Instead, they function as their cheerleaders and rely on their inner compass to steer them to their desired destination. Hence, if you want to be a truly confident man, no woman will want to resist. To build lasting confidence rather than being overly arrogant and cocky, which reeks of insecurity and isn't appreciated by people in general, not just women. 2. Emotionally expressive men. The ability of a man to share all of the different parts of himself, especially the parts he struggles with the most, is one of the most admirable traits most women find in men. However, some men prefer physical intimacy to emotional intimacy because they believe that being emotionally expressive is a sign of weakness. They're unaware that it's their flawed mentality towards vulnerability and emotional expressiveness. Perceiving it as a sign of weakness frequently leaves them feeling frustrated, even after winning over a romantic partner. They're also unaware of the fact that it's because they aren't understood by their partners that they barely do meaningful activities and lead more fulfilling lives together with their partners. Because it's impossible to enjoy a romantic relationship if both you and your partner don't have a deep level of openness and vulnerability. That's why one of the most admirable traits of a catch is the ability to create the feeling of closeness and connection, as well as the fact that both parties will truly see, hear, and value each other. Women don't want to play the guessing game. Plus, it's exhausting to keep analyzing one's reactions, behaviors, etc. Hence, it will be so much easier if you are expressive, so they don't have to live in complete oblivion of who you are, what you need, and how you truly feel. 3. Men who are transparent enough to accept their faults. A man who lacks enough transparency to sincerely and effectively apologize whenever he unintentionally or otherwise hurts a partner, love interest, or anyone else because of the following reasons. Firstly, he might be obsessed with being right and projecting a strong persona. Hence, apologizing seems like a threat and might make him come off as a weakling, as if something's fundamentally flawed about him or like he's a flat-out terrible person. Worse, he might be struggling to often offer apologies first after conflicts because it often feels like shouldering all the guilt and responsibilities for the fight. And lastly, but also most significantly, it might be because of his lack of empathy and inability to put himself in the place of others. In a world where people crave genuine, intimate connections with real humans, including being able to make mistakes that'll hurt one's feelings or cause them pain. And also being able to take responsibility, apologize, and make amends. None of the above reasons are valid reasons why anyone should never offer an apology when in wrong. Because in truth, a sincere apology is nothing but an admission that one has made a mistake and is willing to make amends. It also doesn't just allow the other party to take responsibility for their part in a conflict or argument, but will also mean that you're human enough to embrace your human nature to pave way for resolution, reaffirmation of shared values, and restoration of positive feelings during heated situations. Well, only a few things can be as attractive as this, and the most attractive men in the sight of women know this. 4. Men who don't feel the need to prove themselves with some bullshit. A strong man whose dating and love life is complete mess, full of drama, and is just stressful for the few women he has ever managed to get, might be plagued with the terror of his deep-seated urge to prove himself with some bullshit. The most common BS a lot of men use to prove themselves is putting on an alpha disposition mask to hide their weaknesses and insecurities. But when all you do is try so hard to hide your weaknesses and insecurities, you won't only be engaging in toxic masculinity, but will also be discouraging and harming humanity. Because the truth is that being a strong alpha male comes with the price of having to always meet the standards of being an alpha male, which is one of the most ridiculous reasons a lot of young men have met their sudden demise. So it isn't just a mere toxic masculinity myth, but something that poses a huge threat to your life. Hence, why you'll need to ditch such BS. Besides, it makes you come off as unrelatable and inhuman. Because when you choose to be the extra invincible and unnatural alpha male, you'll practically be void of vulnerability, which is a common trait of true humans. And unless you eventually make peace with and project your most authentic, vulnerable self, you'll forever be swimming in a never-ending cycle of terrible dates and short-lived relationships. That's why the most attractive and authentic strong men out there never shy away from their weaknesses and insecurities. They always project nothing but their true, authentic, and vulnerable selves with no added layer of BS. And so should you. 5. Men who are driven towards finding what they want. It's widely believed that one should always look out for what the opposite sex finds irresistible and try in every possible way to tailor, adjust, and fit himself into what they want to make them fall for him. But in truth, this is just one of the many ways to easily fall into the unattractive and repulsive zone of chronic neediness. And while it might not seem obviously effective, thinking, "I hope I'll find out if she'll be what I want," instead of being obsessed with whether she'll find you attractive or not, will make her more likely to find you attractive 10 times than the latter ever will. The bottom line? Learn to care less about whether a love interest will like you or not, and instead try to find out if you'll like her. Avoid trying to avoid rejections at all costs, because yes, it's inevitable, and usually has nothing to do with you. And also bear in mind that it's okay for what you want, not to want you in return, and it doesn't mean you won't eventually find the one that'll want you as much as you want them. Just so you know, the most attractive men out there who are also very successful with women know, believe, and practice these.